without any further ado, then we will crack on with our first session of the event, which is container safekeeping, and I will hand out to my lovely colleague, Tale.
Okay, cool. I'm share my screen. I start to work with macOS. We was talking yesterday. I still have some difficulties with the keyboard. Is a lot of new keys for me, a lot of new shortcuts, but I hope until the end of the year I will be expert in in macOS. As you mentioned yesterday, I will be most productive. I hope because I make an effort to learn the shortcuts, and it's good. It's the part I started to work with Linux a lot of years ago, and I start to work. I think, oh, this is very hard, and today I really like work with Linux, and I think the Mac is the same. Let me put in the presentation mode here. Okay, okay, now is in the presentation mode. Okay, cool. I will introduce myself with more details. If you have any question during my presentation, feel free to ask. And I'm not English native. English is my second language. Sorry if you don't understand some word. I'm trying be clear. Sometimes some word is a challenge, to pronunciate it. If I can repeat, if you don't understand, don't worry. But okay. My name is Tales Casagrande. You can call me Taleco. Is my nickname. I'm from Brazil, as I mentioned before. From Santa Catarina. Santa Catarina is like the California, It's a lot of beaches. So beautiful. Today, I'm based in Curitiba. Curitiba is 1 hour from São Paulo. São Paulo is, I think, the most popular. São Paulo and Rio de Janeiro. I like to drink a coffee, beer. I play Call of Duty, Warzone. If you like to play with me, we can play together. My favorite drink is Negroni. I practice CrossFit, and I'm not Brazilians is very popular about soccer, but I'm not popular with soccer. My favorite team is Grêmio, and if you want to connect me, you can scan this QR code. We can here have everything about me. We can connect and talk if you have any question in the future. Well, I'm sales engineer in a vendor, and I am part of Snyk Ambassador. I'm work with IT during long years, almost 9 years in security. I'm start my graduation with analysis and developer of system. This is a fun fact because I never work with developer. Because I will talk more in the future about this presentation. But when I start my career in IT, I start with developer, but I move to infrastructure and security. And today I think is very important to understand the developer side. And in my background that I study was very important to me. And today, in last couple months ago, I'm recapping something about developer, studying more Python. I think it's very important to automate it, a lot of things. Uh, and I have some certifications, and I'm focused today in my master business in the DevSecOps. I really like the DevSecOps. But okay, this is about me. But today is not about me. It's about containers, right? I'd like move some step back to we move together forward, right? I was reading a book, and I never know what is the name, why is container, and I like the sea, I like the boats, I like the pirates, I like the and I was reading in this is very interesting for me because in the shipping industry have a standard. This standard is for the for container. We are not still talking about the container image. We are talking about the container with boats. Is a standard that facilitates stacking and very easy to unload with a crane no matter that is inside. Then imagine we are in during the transportation or when we buy something from the internet, we the your uh, that thing you buy came across the world by in a container, no, and this point you can move, doesn't matter what is inside, and there is no problem, right? Because is a standard. We can stack a lot of containers and no problem. When you talk about software, we still have the we still talk about the containers. We should talk about the stacking, about our stacking software. We use this a lot of language, right? We use a lot of language in different environments, and sometimes we use I don't know. We develop it inside of Windows, inside of Linux, and we developer we use the containers now. Now in last days is going very popular. Um, but imagine this container now. This contain that this container uh, is very beautiful. It's clear. It's perfect. But this one is not good. It's not safe. Have there are a lot of issues. Uh, Now imagine our applications, our services that we want to deliver it to our customer. It's not safe if you build an application, if you develop a software like this, no, with a lot of problems. Some guy crash with the I don't know the car here. I don't know what happened. Uh, and we when we develop a software, we have a lot of things to think, like where will you put, where will you developer, where all our code will be hosted, like in cloud. If you talk about cloud, we have a lot of things about the infrastructure to to learn and understand before put the code, right? And it's like the same here. No, we put the infrastructure here. Imagine the Kubernetes here, and now inside of the boat, the containers uh, are managing by Jenkins. For example, the Jenkins is the crane putting some things, the Jenkins or other tool, and this idea um, is the same, right? Modern software is not different. We are building containers all the time. We create our image, or sometimes we get the image from the internet, for example, the Docker Hub or another repository, and we need to understand uh, where is my problem, and if I'm looking for this container, I can see a lot of problems, right? But how I can prioritize in the fix, I need, for in this example, I need to start in painting, I need to start um, cleaning, I don't know. We need some metrics to start with the step by step to fix the problem. Is the software is the same way. We need to understand our situation. We need to understand some points about okay, I'm developer, I'm starting to write a code, but what is a vulnerability? This vulnerability can not vulnerability, let's use the word issue. This issue can impact my software, because when I start my graduation in developer, um, I had one during my graduation one schedule talking about security, but not was focusing security code. It's about security software like IP tables, like a proxy, right? And sometimes it's the same from the dev. The dev the developer have a lot of information to learn, a lot of new languages to learn, and he knows about security, but is a different point. Sometimes he understand what is a SQL injection, for example, but is WASP top 10, but is a lot of information, and sometimes is we need to put the software in the production, and this is can, if you don't understand some problems, some issues that we have in our software, it's not good, or we have a problems in the future if you put in production our software with bugs or vulnerabilities. We have spending more time fixing after than in production. It can have a lot of problems, and it's not good for the customer, right? We need to understand better. Then I will give some ways to understand and how to prioritize in the fix. In the end, I will using a Snyk tool to give more tips to make understandable the my way to help you to prioritizing the vulnerabilities. Okay, because we have when you are developing a software, we have a lot of issues all the time. If you create a new software now, and with the last version of the libraries or the software, we still have the vulnerabilities or issues. If you use, for example, official image base from the Docker Hub, for example, just example, please, is Ubuntu or the Alpine, the official image, we still have some vulnerabilities, and this vulnerability can be a problem for us, but we can use some tools to automate it and give us some insights to fix. Today, I will explain a little bit more about Snyk, but until the end of this meetup, we learn more about these kind of tools, right? And here we have some questions. I really like the questions. I like the questions. Sometimes I question myself about something, and I prepare some questions here to make our make this presentation easy. Yeah, I have some questions here. Some questions is: do you trust the image are you putting in the production? Do you know the origin? Because sometimes we just take the image from the Docker Hub, makes uh, we change some configurations and put the productions, right? We we can do, or we do some security tests in our environment. The pain, I think, here is the DevSecOps philosophy is very strong, but we need to improve all the time to create security software. And here doesn't matter is a big word, but here the point is you must use a security check, a security gate. Doesn't matter if it's in your ECR, if you are using an open source tool. Um, for example, you need start checking to understand where is my problem, right? And here I have one more question. Uh, okay, I'll have a question here.
Yeah, we have
I
a
will.
question from the chat. Yeah. Can you give us small real life example what kind of vulnerability we can face during the production?
Yes, this is a good question. In my demo, I have some examples, but we can talk, for example, about the log4j. Log4j was like a boom about the the vulnerability in Java. No, when you if you are using the library, we we must fix it, or in Python, for example, if you have this library, or a web vulnerability, if you expose your application and you have some problem with SQL injection, you must check and uh, and understand where is the pain point, where is the surface attack, and use some tools you can fix and understand more about this. I will show the some tips in the demo, right?
Yeah, cool. So just to add, basically, when you go live, so any vulnerability caused because of your code being updated and outdated from lack of security patches, the base image which you're using in your container, so that causes a problem when you go live, right? So that will give an opportunity for the hackers to hack in. Yeah, if you're not keeping up to date, if you're vulnerable. So yeah, that's what we're going to talk about more in detail today. But thanks for the question, Nikita.
And keep the application up to date is a challenge, because vulnerabilities, we have new vulnerabilities all the day, and we have some security controls that we can use to protect, right? Is if we are using the web application, we can put a runtime application self protect to protect application. We can use a web application firewall to protect. We can segment our application. We have a lot of ways to put some workarounds to protect the environment. Another question is about the base image, right? The base image, you have the just the necessary that we need, or we use a big image. I remember I saw in some environment productions a lot of images with 1 gigabyte is a very big image. And how now in now how the security team can help the developer, right? Because in general, the developer team sometimes just to give you a report, hey, we have these vulnerabilities in the environment, you must fix. And this is not the best way. We need help, we need to give some informations how to prioritize in the vulnerabilities, right? And that's it. We have the issues. We have some questions that make us think about the problem. And now I will start a demo with some giving some with a tool that we can help us to understand the problems. I let ask the demo gods that to make everything be okay. But I sometimes,
Yeah,
we work with technology, problems happen all the time.
we'll try. We'll try. Hopefully, it goes well.
Cool. Uh, I will demo in two steps. The first time I will use the Snyk. Snyk is a platform that can help us to find and fix vulnerability in our code, in our open source libraries, in our container. If you don't have an account, it's pretty easy to start. No credit card required. Just open your browser app.snyk.io. I will log in with my GitHub account, or you can use your Bitbucket account, Google, Azure, Docker ID. Okay. Well, I have here some projects that I tested before, right? But after you create your account, you can see a lot of integrations. These integrations will help you to protect your environment and get some security feeds that you can prioritize in the security. Here I'm connected with my GitHub, but you can connect your Bitbucket. You can connect it with your Docker Hub, your ECR. A lot of integrations. One integration that I really like is the command line. We will we will use in this demo. Install the command line. The command line is important because we can use the command line to run commands to scan our container, to scan our dependencies, to scan our code. Is a powerful tool. If you developer in Windows, I don't know, or Mac, or you can use npm to install the Snyk command line. You must authenticate it. When you use this command, you see a link that will be redirected a page to authentication. After this, you can start to work, right? Just to use the Snyk monitor, right? Okay, let's back here. Go to projects. Here, I have all the projects that I imported before. For this demo, I will use um, a vulnerability application. This vulnerability is not recommended you to use in production environment, right? Is the Snyk goof. Uh, you can monitor public repos. You can monitor. Just click here. You can monitor private with GitHub integrations or public. If you are monitor a public, you just click in monitor public GitHub repo. You can copy the project. For example, you can copy the link, paste here. After you paste, the Snyk will start the analysis. And here we have the information of the package, the library, the Docker file, and the code. But today we are focused on the Docker file. Here I have some information about the uh,
Vulnerability.
severity.
Yeah, severity.
Yes, I'm missing the word in my mind. Thank you. Uh, you can when you have a detection, for example, you can send the alert via Slack, for example. And here we have more information about the image. We have some suggestions. Oh, you are using this current image is node 6 stretch. We have a lot of vulnerabilities, but you can upgrade to another version that you have less vulnerabilities. The severity only on high, right? This is a some recommendations that uh, you can follow, right? And here I have more information about the vulnerability in my Docker file. I have when this vulnerability was introduced. Here, this important can help the security and the developer guy is the exploit maturity. Exploit is a code. This code is used to the bad guys to find a lag in the software to find the vulnerability and exploit and run malicious code, right? And a good point is uh, another good thing that I like is the trending. This vulnerability is trending on Twitter. Okay, this indicated is a going thread. Okay, let's see here. We can see all the information about this vulnerability. 8 hours ago or some days ago, this guy talking about the vulnerability. We can see more information here based in the Twitter, right? This guy published a code to I think to exploit. Here I have some details about the criticality. Here I have more information about the command injection, the attack complexity, the confidentiality, the integrity. These are the pillars of the security information, and have information how to fix. Have a lot of more information here. Uh, we can see the common weakness. The common weakness can help you understand the weak of the application. In all the detections, we have the version that we have the fix, right? And here we can understand. Okay, we have a critical vulnerability. I can start. Uh, we can see the issues with a filter and only see the critical vulnerabilities. We can check the score. Uh, and here, based in this information, we can talk with the dev to fix the vulnerability. Okay, based in let's back here. Take another one. We can talk about the complex attack. For example, this vulnerability is 9.8. When you are studying, this score 9.8 is a good score. We can pass in the class, but when you talk about vulnerability, this score is very critical. We need fix as fast as possible, right? And here we have the information. The complex attack is low, right? And here the attack vector is network, is not required the privilege attack, not required the user interaction. What this means that the the attackant, not hacker but the bad guy can exploit, and the user don't need interaction uh, to the attack to have it successful, right? But okay, here I'm showing the not command, the guy, the Snyk console, but I think the developer prefer using like a command line to check, right? It's fast. Here I have the history. I have the history about the vulnerabilities. If I fix, I can see the number decrease, right? Well, this the web guy, he can help the security guys or the developer, but the developer can start using the command line, right? I will do the same here. I can use the command of the git clone, but here I'm cloning the repo back to the VS Code.
So basically, whatever they've seen in the website, like GUI, you can also achieve that by command line, right?
Yes, perfect, perfect. But
So
before,
some people are used to command line, some people are used to GUI. So based on your preference, Snyk will let you choose. Um,
yes, of course, before we use the command line, I need uh, I show
Authentication.
before we need the integration. We need to install the command line tool. It's pretty easy. It's just to copy and paste the command.
Yeah.
When here we have a powerful command line, we can use it to authenticate it, to test it, to monitor the container. We can find the vulnerability with the log for per shell. We can see we have all things here. Okay. Um, let's go to the my project, Snyk Goof. Okay, I will just build the image.
So we're building a simple, probably JavaScript application to create an image.
Yes. Um, I have some in. I tested before. If it just something have some problem, I show my well. While build, just to give more, we save time. I will go to the applications that I already built.
Yeah.
I think it is the best. Okay, let's go to the Snyk Goof lab. Okay, I will use the command line Snyk container, Snyk Goof. I built it before Snyk test, Snyk container test Goof.
So what is happening in the background, Thailand?
Oh, good question. Sorry. Um, the command line of Snyk is scanning my project, my dependencies inside of my this Snyk Goof project, right? The analysis is looking for vulnerabilities or issues that I have. In in the end of this analysis, I will have the same information of the web console, right? We can
Yeah.
see all the information about the vulnerability. Now here in this moment is querying the database here. Well, we have all the information here based in critical. We have the info link. We have the version that have the fix. We have in the end we have the same information, the recommendations to upgrade, the number of vulnerabilities, the beige image type, and here we don't use the command line. We don't use the web GUI, right? We can use the command line to have the same information. We can scan our projects, and it can be very fast. I think it make more sense, right?
Yeah,
This
yeah,
this this information is the same. Let's back here.
yeah. So basically, whatever you're seeing on the console when you scan your repository, so you see on the command line as well.
Yes. Just for we end. Oh, uh, uh, here. Okay. Uh, well, based in our information, where we can start? We can start with the vulnerabilities. We have the CVE like 7 or 8 to prioritizing, right? Um, I can start with vulnerabilities that have exploit, for example. This is a good way to start. We always have a question here, right? Because we make it, ask to ourselves to understand and looking at the application, and we have a strong knowledge base of Snyk. We can use it to understand and see the vulnerabilities, right? It based in the information. If the vulnerability have a CVS like a 9, like score 90, like 8, for example, the surface attack, the surface complexity, the user interaction. Uh, I need spend more time in this kind of vulnerability to fix after uh, putting prioritizing my in my backlog, then start create a new, right? Fixing these critical vulnerabilities with exploit or have a big score CVE, we can decrease the surface attack in our environment. You can Our application will be safe, right? I think this is the message. If you have some questions, you can send a message in the LinkedIn. We can send me a Twitter message.
Yeah,
Just
yeah. Cool. Yeah. So yeah, just Sneak also it doesn't really find the vulnerabilities. It also tells you, what you can do when you find these kind of vulnerabilities to avoid your risk of your application. Yeah. So it also automatically creates the pull request in a click of a button to for your
yes,
GitHub, and it also suggests you, okay, this is what I think, is the best one. So as soon as you realize, okay, I would like to go with a different version of a base image which contains less security, less vulnerabilities, less severe critical vulnerabilities, so I would just click here as Tali was showing. So that would automatically create a pull request on GitHub. Somebody have to, peer review. You can merge it, and then yeah, it's pretty neat tool. I use it personally, and yeah, it helps a lot. You can also use Snyk to scan your community projects in GitHub which you support, which you contribute. That also helps them to find the vulnerabilities in their code, and you can request, raise a pull request for them as well. So that's what I do in Docker community, Docker, also awesome Docker. I support some of the projects in GitHub. I help find the vulnerabilities using Snyk and raise a pull request for them. So it's pretty neat tool.
yes. And another point, if the vulnerability we can ignore, of course, because we can ignore uh, we can ignore temporary or permanently basing days if I mean well.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Chaba. So thanks. Is basically, any vulnerability tool needs a vulnerability database. Yeah, so
Yes.
that's how it scans against. So his question is basically, will it be in his local machine or will it be
Mm-hmm.
exported from somewhere?
The When we start the scan, the command line will ask to Snyk API about in the vulnerability database. You can you can export the information after the scan, right? This information you can export to a JSON format, for example. But the information about the vulnerability database is from Snyk, right? But if you use I think open source
ClareDB,
uh,
Anchor.
DB, you can make some queries. You can import or export or create another tool to scan. I think this is possible.
Yeah, yeah. So it depends on what vulnerability tool you're using, Chaba. So Snyk obviously now have the API where in the background checks in their database and give you a summary like this, what Tales shown. If you're using some of the open source tools like ClareDB or Anchor or some of the open stuff, you will install the Postgres database locally, which it connects, and you have to keep it up to date and stuff like that. So yeah,
Yes.
there are two ways you can do that. Yeah, and yeah, this is where you provide your comment. I think yeah, that's a good one.
Okay. Thank you.
So second half of your question, Chaba. So that's how you provide your feedback to them. So it goes to the vulnerability application, and they act basically if there's anything that you have to fix. Cool. Thanks, Sale. That was brilliant. I learned some new things on the sneak as well, myself. So that was pretty good. Yes, that was pretty good.
Okay.
Thank you.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for inviting me. Sorry about my English.
No, you're
I'm
pretty good, Tale.
improving all the day. Some words in my mind, there are a thousand of Thales translating and thinking English to back.
No, you're pretty good, pretty good. I really personally enjoyed it and learned few new things as well. The CLI one, which I didn't normally use, but yeah, I know now where to get, how to use it. Yeah, so how to assess those weaknesses, which I not aware before, so I know where to go and check them. Yeah, thanks for that. A lot of useful info there.
Okay.
Yeah, there's one more question. Can you pull multiple images?
Yes, you can if you have GitHub
Docker
integrate.
Compose.
Yes, Docker Compose, or if you have GitHub integrations, you will see all of your images or in your projects, or if you have ECR integration, you can see the images that you have in your repo. It's possible.
Yeah, yeah. You can scan multiple images with Snyk. I mean, there's a limit, I think, for the open source, how many scans you can do per month. It's around 200 or something for Docker. Docker scan itself integrated Snyk in the background. So if you install Docker, if you're running Docker locally, if you do a Docker scan
Yeah.
behind the scenes, it uses Snyk to scan the images. And I think there's a limit for 200 scans or something per month, and you can upgrade that, yeah, as and when you need, or based on your need. But there are also a couple of open source tools which I'm going to go through in this other session. But yes, you could manage do that.
Yes.
Cool. Any other questions from the audience or anything you want to add, Tale, on the what's the message that you would like to give, right? So what's the message that for container safekeeping? What's the most key important points?
My message is it's a good question. My message is understand the vulnerability, understand the issue, right? If it makes sense, have a impact in your environment, just prioritizing, right? Spending some minutes sometimes talking with the IT guy, the security guy, sorry, to understand the environment, understanding the business, to create a safe code and put the security all the time. You doesn't matter if it's step by step, starting scanning your images, start scanning your library, and putting security gates that you have a completely out of security gate, right? Make the security easy, not a problem. This is my always my recommendation.
Cool. Thanks, Ale. That was brilliant. I don't see any other questions coming. In that case, well, we can move to the next topic. Uh,
Perfect.